In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Chicago Bears training camp as we quickly approach week one of the preseason, talking about the Cubs and the White Sox post-trade deadline and how things are shaping up for them, and more. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You get to see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. The season is quickly approaching, so make sure you head on over to icehogs.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, my friend, how are you doing?
I am good. I'm doing fine. I want to ask if you're okay because I know you were at training camp. You sent me that picture of you and Georgie Porgy along the sidelines, but did you get injured? If you were at Bears training camp, did you
I,
get hurt?
funny enough. So in the Paytons, the Walter Payton Center, they have like all these activities. Like you could try to kick a field goal, which I learned I can't kick a field goal. It's a lot harder than it looks. You could run a 40-yard dash, and they had the electric the laser timing. And I pulled a quad running the 40.
I like to think that those fan activities is just Ben Johnson secretly seeing if they could bring in any depth with everybody getting hurt at this rate.
Yeah, my 40 time is never going to bring that depth.
What you're not saying you can compete with somebody like Luther Burden or Roma Dunze or Khalif Raymond? Well, unfortunately, Luther Burden won't be running for a while, but you know
I
what I
at
mean.
at this point right now, I could beat Luther Burden.
Yeah, yeah. Man, it's like every day we're hearing about an injury. And I mean, if it weren't for the injuries, you're not hearing anything bad in camp. We hear about how the offense looks, the goods, the bads, as are expected. And, the defense was clearly not winning the days for a while, but then you saw recently they quote won a few days. But I mean, I feel like everything would be holly jolly if we just weren't dealing with all these injuries.
So I saw training camp last year, and it and saw the fan fest, and the offense looked terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't think at that point we knew, was it the defense was really good, or the offense was it really bad, or somewhere in the middle. None of us had any idea, and we figured out that it was the offense was terrible and the defense was terrible. Um, but that, but we didn't know. And going into this training camp, I watched the offense looks pretty good. The offense does look pretty good.
And from everything I'm seeing is Colson Loveland is just looking like an absolute standout.
Yeah, I mean, Roma Dunze looked great. So I listened to people talk about the camp the day that I was at, which was Thursday, and people saying, "Man, Jalen Johnson's getting cooked." I watched him. He got beat on a couple of long throws, but he was going one-on-one against Roma Dunze, and the ball was perfectly thrown and in a place that only Rome could get it, and Rome went up and got it like an acrobatic catch and went down with I mean, Jalen Johnson was on him like white on rice. Like he was on him. And it was just a great throw and a better catch. So like I can't say he was being beat. The defensive backs they were competing hard. They were super physical. I don't know if that is something that they're preaching, but man, in that first 5 yards, they were physical. And I mean, I watched Scotty Miller getting molested. Um, and Rome's too big. The tight ends are both too big. Luther's just too quick. but some of the other receivers were getting bodied up at the line of scrimmage. They eventually got their plays, but man, those corners are playing physical. It's like I watched a good practice. I was very impressed.
I mean, that's all good to hear. Like I said, it's the dark cloud over the team is the injuries.
Oh, undoubtedly. I didn't see because it was on the other side of the field when Montez Sweat got hurt and when Braxton Jones got hurt, but I saw both defensive backs go down and they didn't look so good, and it sounded like they're which is they were guys that probably weren't going to make the squad anyway, but still, it's you don't like to see that.
No, not at all. Montez Sweat, that one just kind of happened. I haven't seen much on that. Have you? Like, what's going on with him?
Um, so I don't know exactly what's wrong, but it's sounding like he'll be fine. They called it like a day to day, week to week type thing. Um, so it sounds like they're just going to be precautious with him.
Hmm.
And it doesn't sound like Braxton Jones is going to be a serious one either. He's just missing those reps, which sucks. Um, but I mean, at this point now, we've got Luther Burden went down with a groin injury. Um, Kobe Bryant went down with a ankle injury and a hyperextended knee. And that one, uh, um, was it who was it that reported out on it? Was
Well, Adam Schefter reported
Schefter.
it, and then Ben Johnson, when he was asked about it in the presser, was like, I don't know where you're getting that. We're still evaluating.
Yeah, because Adam Schefter put the 8 to 10 weeks,
Right.
and the way it sounded to me when Ben Johnson was saying that, it was like I don't agree with that 8 to 10 weeks, which makes me think that they think it's going to be shorter.
I hope. I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean worse? Does that mean better? Does that mean maybe it'll be around that same area and they just don't know yet? It's kind of nerve-wracking because I'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean, because we don't have, um, a lot of depth at that position. It's, uh, it's a little frightening, because uh, we drafted Dylan Thieneman, and from what I hear, I didn't see a ton of him, but that it's taken him a little time to get used to this defensive scheme, which rookie safety, not surprising. Elijah Hicks is still out. Like he came in on the pup list, so he's still out. Cam Lewis, who was going to slide in as if needed, he's hurt. Um, so like they they signed Xavier Woods. Like they're signing dudes off the street.
Yeah, you're just finding bodies at this point.
Yeah, I mean, because we've got Elijah Hicks is out, Luther Burden is out, Kobe Bryant is out, Cam Lewis is out, Jalen Jones is out, Terrell Smith is out, DeMarco Jackson's out, Braxton Jones is out, Montez Sweat is out, and I can't like be overly woe is me um right now because have you seen some of the 49ers injuries? Uh they are getting walloped with injuries. Um Nick Bosa hurt, Mike Evans hurt, Christian Kirk hurt, Ricky Pearsall out for the season, Kyle Juszczyk hurt, George Kittle hurt. Like they those are some dudes that they're counting on.
The 49ers, man, it is crazy how hurt they get. And I mean, yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is everybody's going to go through injuries in training camp, every single team. It's just the frequency of what we've seen from the Bears so far, it is a little worrisome. And because it's a lot of key guys. Like Kobe Bryant was going to be one of the biggest key guys on your defense. Obviously, Montez Sweat, I'm sure he's going to be okay, but he's one of the most important guys in that front line. And then, Luther Burden is going to be one of your most important weapons on offense. So, these aren't just like kind of fringe guys, it's a couple of your really key guys. So, that's always troublesome.
Yeah, and Xavier, your wide receiver Xavier Thomas went out today with a knee injury.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I mean, the
Forgot about that
good
one.
thing is he went off on his own power. He didn't get carted off, but
Right.
which makes me think that it's not a season ender. But I like, geez, Louise,
We need a break. We
we
need a break from
definitely
injuries.
we need a break, and we need some guys to recover.
Yeah, for sure. Now, looking at the whole situation with Braxton Jones, what's your opinion been on how they're handling that left tackle spot with him not in there? Because, they've been rotating some guys in there. I was curious to see what your perspective was on the left tackle outside of Braxton Jones.
So again, when they were doing the scrimmages, they went on the far side of the field, I think on purpose because people film and they're not supposed to. So it was hard to see who was in there, but from what I was hearing, it was Karan Amagaji in there most of the time.
Yeah, me too.
Um, which I think because he was a draft pick of this regime, that they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. If my feeling is that Braxton Jones will be fine and he'll win the starting job, but if there's complications or it becomes more serious than we thought, I I think it's gonna be Jedrick Wills.
Mm. You don't think they go out and sign a certain ex-Lion?
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, their cap is pretty tight now.
I
And
mean,
I know he's kind of waiting for
you can always
sure,
make
but
room.
sure, but it's he's waiting out for the right deal. If time continues to tick, I mean, we're gonna be playing preseason games here. We already just played the Hall of Fame game. The Bears' first preseason game is coming up this week,
Yeah,
so it's coming
today
quick.
is our last Sunday without football the rest of the year.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, so um, it's I have a feeling it's Jedrick Wills, and mostly because I think that because he has a 1 year deal that they could trade him if he does well, because they're not going to keep him long term. Um, so I think he might be a guy that they could trade and bolster somewhere else. We
Yeah,
shall see.
maybe, maybe. I mean, here's the thing is if Braxton Jones is fine and we're going to say, yes, Braxton Jones is going to be the left tackle. Okay. A few months ago, I thought he was as good as gone. You also thought he was good as gone. He wasn't drafted under the Ben Johnson regime. He was drafted. I mean, he's been around under Ryan Poles, but, Ben Johnson, he barely played last year under Ben Johnson's first year, but I mean, everything we've heard about him, the way he's bulked up, the way he's worked this offseason and coming into camp, you're hearing some pretty positive things from Ben Johnson from him. So I'm really just hoping Braxton Jones is healthy and ready to go because he's never going to be a Pro Bowl left tackle, but at least you can put him in there and feel okay with him in there. You're not consistently worried. And yes, there are certain matchups you don't want him being the number one guy, but I think overall you can put him in there and not feel like you're hodgepodging some practice squad sludge over there.
I mean, the rest of the offensive line is pretty good,
It is.
and on the other tackle spot, you have an arguably top three tackle in right tackle in football.
Cha-ching.
Ching indeed. You paid him. So yeah, Darnell Wright got paid. He got paid a lot of money. Which is going to be curious because at this time next year, we're going to be talking about Caleb Williams' extension.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb Williams' extension is going to be astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a feeling he's going to be somewhere around $70 million a year.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to find that space. You're gonna have to work it out. And I mean, look, when you gave Darnell Wright the bag, you knew he was gonna get the bag. The truth is that linemen are very expensive, and I've always, well, not always, I think I've come to say this in recent years. I didn't always feel this way, but the big money is who you give to your lineman and your quarterback. If it's not one of the elites in the other positions, you draft a replacement because you can give away a lot of money to an okay safety, an okay cornerback, and you could regret it in a year or two. I mean, I sometimes you just have to have the peak of a prime of a player, and then if that time is gone, then find somebody else. And again, exceptions are like the very best of the best. Like in terms of wide receivers, you're going to give a guy like Justin Jefferson an extension, whereas somebody like, say, DJ Moore, who's good, and I mean, he got an extension with the Bears, but when you are in a tighter cap space, you find yourself having to trade him, or you look where you're going to find that money because I mean, you can keep good guys around, but if you're really good at drafting, then I think it makes things easier to pay the essentials and then work around that. Again, much easier said than done. It's not black and white, but my whole point here is linemen make a lot of money. They make a lot of money, and we just saw Darnell Wright get paid. And you know what? I was never worried. I don't think anyone was actually worried about that extension. Even the Bears pretty much said it's not a matter if but when, and then it got done.
Yeah, and it got done. I mean, we saw them both sides start talking about it, and people were asking Darnell Wright about it, and he's like, I have representation. That's what they do. And I love that approach by him. Just don't, that's not your concern. You're going to get paid. Let let the people you pay to get you paid do what they do. And that's what they did. He got a lot of money. And um also, like, I don't know if you were keeping up, but former Northwestern player Peter Skoronski got paid too.
Mm-hmm.
Um is The Titans signed him to a 4-year, $100 million contract as a guard. As a guard. And I want to toot my own horn a little bit. Is when he came out a couple years ago in the draft. So many people were arguing with me online. They're like, "You're stupid, blah, blah, blah. He's a tackle. He's going to play tackle. He's going to be elite at tackle, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, no. I mean, he's a fantastic offensive lineman. He's a fantastic college tackle. In the NFL, he's going to be an elite level guard. And I'm like, I don't have any problems drafting him in the top 10. He's going to be elite, but he's not a tackle. Don't put him at tackle. And the Titans were smart and they put him at guard, and he's one of if not the best guard in football.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no bad, like he got paid $100 million contract, and with $88 million guaranteed. He's the highest paid guard in NFL history, but he's a guard. And he short arms, you don't play tackle. Sorry. And the Patriots are seeing that now. They drafted a kid who was a really good college tackle, and too short of arms. They should be kicking him inside at guard, and they put him at tackle. And what happened is he got abused in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Abused. He's a good football player. Just don't you can't put a guy with short arms as your tackle. Like the shortest arms I've ever seen on a good tackle was Jason Peters, and he was not short. He just at that range he was the shortest of the range, and he turned out to be pretty elite.
Well, and I mean, with Jason Peters, too, I mean, that guy, you want to talk about football IQ 101 when it comes to linemen. Jason Peters was off the charts good at that. He was just his technique, his smarts, his understanding of the playbook and understanding of his assignments and just good technical football. Jason Peters was phenomenal. I mean, remember when he was a Bear the one year? He was old. He wasn't at peak physical form, but he was still effective because you might lose a step or two physically, but you don't lose that IQ and that technique.
He played really well other than the injuries. Like he was banged up.
But that's physical, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
performance or technique.
it was we had two old guys on that team that year, and both of them played pretty well.
Yeah.
Mercedes Lewis was a Bear too.
Yes, he was. Yes, he
Uh,
was.
and so, both guys played really well, especially considering their age. And Jason Peters was on a fishing boat when they called him asking if he wanted a job.
I love that story. Imagine you're just fishing in a floppy hat and you're drinking beer, and all of a sudden the Bears call you, "Hey, you want a couple $1 million to block for us?" Okay.
Do you remember when Spice Adams' his contract ended and he was hoping the Bears would re-sign him or the 49ers or anybody, and he was making those funny videos of of him trying to keep in shape?
Yep.
Those were hilarious. He was a good sport about all that.
He was.
I don't think he ever did get another contract. Like
I
the
don't know.
NFL is very good at telling you when your career is over.
Yeah. Nah, look at baseball. You have guys signing minor league deals all the time. Did you see? Have you been following at all Craig Kimbrell?
No.
You know he's still pitching and he's on like his third or fourth team this year.
Huh.
Yeah, he's been with the Mets, got DFA'd, with the Rays, got DFA'd, and now he's signing with the Royals. I don't remember if there was a fourth team in between somewhere, but he was definitely with the Mets, the Rays, and now he just signed a minor league deal with the Royals. It's like, bro, like you know that meme of like the guy wearing the backpack where like the strap is being held together by like one string and the rest is just ripped apart. And it's this bro trying to hang on. That's Craig Kimbrell. But he keeps getting minor league deals. I think the football equivalent of Craig Kimbrell would probably not even get signed to practice squads at this point.
Mercedes Lewis played last year?
I remember he played. I don't remember what team he played
The
for.
Broncos.
Okay. He's not on a roster this year, is he?
He is not currently on a roster.
Has he officially retired?
No, he said he wants to play
Somebody sign the man.
because he originally said last season would be his 20th and final season, but he later said he would like to play a 21st season.
Mercedes
Um,
Lewis.
he's currently training in MMA and says that he's leaving. He would like to play in the NFL again.
I like if I'm Mercedes Lewis, it would just be fun to just like truly see how long you can last. Mercedes, because he originally drafted by the Titans?
No, the
The
Jaguars.
Jaguars, the Jaguars. I knew it was one of those
The
expansion
Jaguars.
teams.
The
Yeah, the
Jaguars.
Jags. Would that have been '06?
Oh 05, I think.
Let's see, Mercedes Lewis. Yeah, he was born in 1984. How many football players can you say were born in 1984? I don't think many.
I
So
love Mercedes Lewis.
in 2006, he was the 28th overall pick in 2006 by the Jags. He was a Pro Bowler with the Jags in 2010, and he was there a long time. He was there from 2006 to 2017. So he played there for 12 years. Then he was with the Packers for the 5 years, two with the Bears, and then one with Denver. And he has 40 career receiving touchdowns. And it's funny because, like, over the past, I don't know, 7, 8 years, he's averaged like one touchdown pass per year. Actually, his last touchdown catch in the NFL, I remember this too. It was Christmas Eve of 2023 against the Cardinals. I remember that pass. It was one of the games where Justin Fields had one of those big first halves. They were up like 24 to nothing at one point. And I remember uh, I was watching with my family, and Mercedes Lewis was just like wide open in the back of the end zone, just standing there with like his hands in his pockets. And then Fields just kind of floated it right to him. And it was just like, boop, touchdown. That was his last then it was last catch because last year let's see, he appeared in 5 games, started one, though he was not targeted once last year.
I would love to see Ben Johnson bring him in as just a blocking dude. Like,
Don't they have enough tight ends?
no, not enough tight ends.
I guess not for a Ben Johnson offense.
Ben Johnson's he's like, we're going to go Luther Burden and five tight ends. You just see him and it looks like he's got the strings all over his office like a beautiful mind. He's like we're going the, we're going the 15 personnel. 15 personnel.
I was gonna say, who needs a 13-man personnel when you can go really crazy?
We won't have a center. The quarterback's just gonna snap it to himself. We're gonna put a tight end in there.
He's got his twitching eye, and actually, speaking of that, did you read the story about Ben Johnson sleeping at Hallis Hall?
Does that surprise you at all?
Oh no, of course not. Not at all. It's just so funny. It's so funny how like you can just hear a story like that and be like, yeah, no, that tracks. So here's the story. Sam Roush, the Bears rookie tight end who they drafted this past year, uh, caught him sleeping in his office. He says, I was here over the summer in June. I was lifting at 8 a.m. and Ben walks in and he's got a bed head. I look at him and I was like, you slept in the facility last night, didn't you? And Ben was like, don't ask those types of questions. It was the middle of June. Nobody even has to be here. And he's sleeping in his office grinding away.
I just picture like his wife. Like, I think he's cheating on me. She hires like a private investigator who's just sitting there 24 hours on a stakeout with binoculars, and they're like, what was he doing? Like, he was literally watching the same play over and over and over for 12 straight hours, taking notes.
His office is just filled with empty Mountain Dew cans.
It's like black licorice and Mountain Dew.
I picture him with that 5 o'clock shadow coming out with the bedhead. Like one of his eyes is just twitching like crazy. And then somebody makes like eye contact with him. He just starts frothing and barking at them. Like he's just so sleep deprived. His mind is completely gone. Georgie Porgy walks by. Oh, hi there, Ben.
It's like he's Cujo and he's got rabies. George climbs on the top of his car to get away from him.
Meanwhile, if Matt Eberflus were ever sleeping at Hallis Hall, it would be in the middle of practice with his arms closed, sleeping in a freaking like chair or
It,
something while they're
it
trying
would
to
be like
practice.
Huck Finn with a piece of wheat hanging out of his mouth with,
Dong da
with a
dong
fishing
dong.
rod between his toes.
Dong da dong da dong da dong dong.
He, now I just picture Matt Eberflus using a piece of like a electrical cord as a belt because he couldn't find his belt, and he's got wheat in his mouth. And he's got overalls with no shoes and socks, just walking barefoot. Like, what are you doing? I'm getting ready for the regular season.
Fish ain't biting today.
Figure I'd come into work because the fish ain't biting.
Oh my God, who does this? You look behind and Georgie Porgy looks the same way. You got two Huck Finns.
Uh,
But no, Ben Johnson is just psychotic in sleeping over in the facility in the middle of June when nobody's required to be there. That's dedication to your craft, man.
I love it. I love it. The man is a maniac.
He sleeps in his chair while if Ryan Poles has to sleep over, he unrolls his Urkel sleeping bag. It's my Urkel sleeping bag, isn't it cool? No, it's not cool.
Did you say cheese, Laura? Laura?
Just picturing Ryan Poles sleeping in a freaking Urkel sleeping bag.
Uh, did you ever see the movie Wedding Crashers?
Yes.
I just picture Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles having the sleepover like they did on their birthdays on Wedding Crashers at the beginning of the movie.
Perfect.
Uh,
Perfect.
I just picture Ben Johnson's calling him Baba Ganoush.
What if Ben Johnson just one day is like, you know what, man? I'm just gonna move in here. This is gonna be my house. What about your kids and your wife? Oh, they're moving in too. We built ourselves a garage.
They're gonna visit me every third Thursday.
Ben Johnson's got a clothesline that goes out his office across the freaking field, and the players are trying to practice, and you just see his drawers and his shirts just hanging in the wind. He's
Uh,
washing them with a freaking washboard like the 1800s.
they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking my clothes down by the creek.
Sorry, I live here now. Hey, I mean, he's probably got everything he needs. He's got a cafeteria stocked with nutritious food. The facilities
But you
have
know he
all the
churns his own butter.
yeah.
He's like a whenever I get stressed, I churn butter. And they're like, oh my God, why do you have all of these butter statues in your office? I'm stressed a lot.
I'm very stressed, man. You know we have fresh butter in the cafeteria. I churn my own butter.
Uh,
George does it, and it's just a milky mess. George, I'm pretty sure purple crayons don't go into butter.
why is the butter purple?
Yeah, and now I mentioned earlier, you saw George and you
I
sent me
did.
that picture. You texted me the picture of George. So I gotta ask, was he just walking around? Did you go up to him and say hello? Like how'd you interact with old George?
He was holding court. He stood there. He was there from the time that we walked in, and we got there at like 8 a.m. and he was there at like 1 p.m. just staying in the same spot, signing autographs, taking pictures. I got to give the man credit. Like he was there all the whole practice, just signing autographs.
You know what? The way that George interacts with the fans, I not a lot of owners do that in many sports, especially these days. And we've been very critical about how mom and pop that operation has been in an era of Amazons, but you know what? I can say that that mom and popness of him, I can dig it. I can respect it. And he'll write you back if you write him. We talked about this before on our show, and like he will write you back. So I do give him he does put a lot of time and effort for the fans directly. So I do think that is something worth giving credit to.
And he did not have a security detail. He had like one kid who looked like college age that was just taking people's phones and taking pictures for George.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
at least the good thing in that environment is like you're not, it's not like a ton of guys have been tailgating and drinking for hours. It's a family.
they served beer. There was people pounding beers at that. It was pretty wild. I was like, it's 8 o'clock in
Really?
the morning and they're serving beer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away by it. I don't remember that from last year, but they had
Well,
multiple
because I was
beer
gonna
vendors.
say I didn't think that that was a thing from last year. I don't remember that being a thing.
I mean, it could have been, I just don't remember, but they definitely were serving beer this year because there was a bunch of dads around there just like, you know, pounding tall boys.
I mean, at the Family Fest, it made sense because you're at Soldier Field and there's the concession stands. I mean,
And it
and
wasn't 8 a.m.
no, it wasn't 8 a.m. It was like at 11 or noon or whatever it was all those years. But yeah, that surprises me, especially if you're at Hallis Hall.
Like who needs a 8 a.m. beer?
Some people do, clearly.
Clearly, they were just like, nah, need a beer. Two fists in it.
I
Yeah.
mean, whether or not you need a beer in the morning, I'm just surprised that at that facility, in that environment, they would do that. That just surprises me. Like, I get it. You're selling snacks and soda and water. I would think that that would not be like a place where they would serve alcohol. That's just, wow.
There's one thing I do want to call out about practice that
Yes.
was very, very notable. So at the end of practice, they have like ropes that they, to keep fans from going onto the field, and they move them up. Like, so you're about 8 to 10 feet onto the field, and they just move the ropes up. So people can leave the bleachers, and the people that are staying to try to get autographs can move up.
So there's
And
more room for people to like pass through.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And a handful of players came out, signed a couple autographs, and went back. There was one player who came out and started at the far end and signed for every single kid that was there from one end of the field all the way down to the other end. Most people came at one section, went in that little section, and then went back to the locker room. And they like, they drew a line in the sand, like this is the far as I'm going, and that's it. This one player, every single kid got an autograph. Every single one from beginning. I mean, whoever stayed from started at the one at the north end and walked all the way to the south end. Signed every single one, and not even like a cheap one. Wrote his full name and his number. Joe Tooney.
Awesome.
So I've got a picture of my kid getting her Bears hat signed by Joe Tooney,
Yo, send me
and
that picture. I want to see it.
he could not have been more gracious. Like, I mean, they're all tired. That was the longest practice that they had, so far in training camp. And he came out and just signed for every single kid. And I was blown away by that. He didn't need to do that, and he did. And it was so nice.
Wow,
Um,
that is so cool.
and he's a giant human being. I know that probably goes without saying.
And he's quietly one of the most important players on that team.
I mean, I was trying to explain to my wife, I was like, this guy is a surefire Hall of Famer. Like, if he retired today, once the minimum required time passed, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I just saw the photo you texted me. That is so cool. You know, I've always marveled at how good Joe Tooney is, and the fact that the Bears got him for literally nothing, like what was it, a fourth round pick?
Yeah.
You gave up a fourth round pick to give up a future Hall of Famer. He's won like what, four Super Bowls, five Super Bowls? He won a handful with the Patriots. He won a handful with the Chiefs. It's like everywhere he's gone, they're winners. Like there's just those types of players out there where not only are they good, but they clearly help shape a culture in a good way. And I do think Joe Tooney, we're not in the locker room. We don't know exactly what's going on, but it appears to me like Joe Tooney is a big part of that culture shift, in addition to having Ben Johnson in there.
Joe Tooney has four Super Bowl victories, and he's been to six.
That's incredible. So he's played in what? At least six, maybe more conference championships?
More than that, I believe.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because let's see, he's what was his first year in the league? So he was with the Patriots all those years. Yeah, because I know they lost the one conference championship to the Broncos, and then the Chiefs lost the conference championship to the Bengals. So at least eight conference championships, maybe
Um,
more. Point being is that, and I mean, they were 20 yards away from him playing in another conference championship, but that guy has played in a lot of playoff games, point being.
yeah. So let's see. Um, 2016 Super Bowl. 2017 lost the Super Bowl. 2018 won the Super Bowl. 2019 lost in the wild card round. 2020 they didn't make the playoffs. I think that was is that the first year Tom Brady was gone?
Yeah, so Brady, because that wasn't that the year Brady won with the Buccaneers?
Yeah. 2021 lost in the AFC Championship. 2022 won the Super Bowl. 2023 won the Super Bowl. 2024 lost the Super Bowl. 2025 lost in the divisional round.
Right.
So every single year of his career except for one, he went to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And every single year except for two, he's won a playoff game.
Yep. Yeah. Man, I mean, again, talk about a resume, and just on top of him being a darn good player. And, you saw the Madden rankings for him. He was one of the highest protectors on there. I think that he is going to go down as one of the best trades in recent Chicago history
He's
of all
played in
teams.
23 postseason. He's had 23 postseason starts.
That's more than a regular season's worth,
Yes.
which is a lot, all things considered.
It's a lot of football.
Yeah. I'm happy as hell that we have Joe Tooney. And you know that where Joe Tooney's playing, you never worry about it.
No. I mean, and just his versatility and his willingness to play other positions. Just the guy's the consummate pro. And, they asked Tom Brady once, so like, who's the best teammate you ever played with? It's like Joe Tooney.
When the
When
greatest of all time is telling you he's the best teammate you've had, what does
yeah.
that tell you?
Um I mean it's pretty incredible. Um the guy's just really good. And um and he's been versatile, like he's been healthy. From 2016 to 2021 and 23 to 25, he played every single regular season game. In 2022, he missed 2 games due to an ankle injury. And in 2023, he had a pectoral injury and um he missed the AFC Championship in the Super Bowl. But he got a
Can you
ring.
hear this?
Is
Can
it
you
you
hear
knocking
me
on wood?
knocking on wood like constantly?
I mean, you have to. You have to.
You are Sean Hotman. You know your powers.
I'm just saying he was an extraordinarily nice guy. Signed everyone. He did steal the guy next to us as marker. Um, because we were like that's on me. I forgot to bring a Sharpie. And so my kid was really worried she wasn't going to get her hat signed. I'm like, somebody will lend you a marker. And this guy's like, he lent the people next to us the marker and then us too. And then Joe just kept it. And the guy started yelling as Joe Tooney left. He was like, Joe, you stole my marker, but it's okay. You can have it. And Joe walked away carrying the marker.
Probably didn't even think about it. He was just like, "Oh yeah, it's a marker." Just wasn't even thinking.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, it was more funny than anything.
Yeah,
It was a dollar Sharpie.
yeah. I don't think that guy cared.
No. Um, but yeah, but then there was a guy that was a couple people over from us that had 2 paintings he did of Caleb Williams that were really good. I got the guy's card somewhere. Um, because he parked like right across from me because you have to park in the mall and parking lot in Vernon Hills and then they bus you over to Hallis Hall. Um,
Oh, I should have brought my painting to get it signed.
yes, well, so he had the paintings and when there was a guy next to him that was like he caught all the players' attentions because he was just really loud um and he called Luther Burden over. Luther Burden came over and he's like, "Hey, Luther, bring this over to Caleb to have him sign it."
That's
And,
awesome.
and Luther Burden takes it and goes running around down the field carrying this giant painting that had to have been like, you know, 24 by 36, maybe bigger. Like it was big. And he just goes running over with this poster and he comes running back with it. And he's like, "Got it signed."
Ah, that's awesome. Because I did I don't know if
You
you
did your
remember this.
Caleb. Yeah, you did your Caleb
I
painting.
did my Caleb. Because I got my drawing of Belfour signed by Ed Belfour, so it would have been cool to have my Caleb signed by Caleb.
Yeah, you should have brought it.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, so Daniel Hardy came out and signed. Luther Burden came out and did signings. Colston Loveland walked over and waved at everybody and laughed when people were yelling funny things. Um, Joe Tooney signed. Uh, Kyle Monungai signed. Well signed. Um,
Did Cole Kmet or DeAndre
no,
Swift or
neither one of them came out. Caleb,
Bradbury,
no, he didn't come out. Uh,
Jalen,
no,
Cairo Santos?
no, but people were yelling for him. Um, Khalif Raymond came over and signed real quick, but then he was working the jug machine. So he was doing jugs for like an hour.
Jugs.
Um, oh, Jordan Vandenberg came over and just high fived everybody. He didn't sign any autographs, but he was high fiving people as we were already leaving at that point, but he was just high fiving people.
Oh, cool. Cool. You know, okay, another funny vision here. You're all waiting for autographs, and George McCaskey just runs by and starts high-fiving everybody on his scooter, and then somebody films it and they slow it down and they play Chariots of Fire as he's high-fiving everybody.
He looks like Paul Blart Mall Cop.
He's got his helmet on. Uh,
Uh, yeah, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the season. I know the injuries are there, and I know it's going to be a concern, and I know people are having a lot of things to say about Ben Johnson because he runs a physical practice, and it was a physical practice. I mean, these guys were hitting, and tackling and getting tangled up, and I mean that's how Tyreek Stevenson got hurt too. Tyreek Stevenson and Luther Burden got hurt is they got tangled up on a passing drill, and Tyreek Stevenson hurt his back, but he came back in and played, but then he didn't play the practice the next day.
it was
And Luther,
precautionary, right? More or
yeah,
less.
yeah, I think he was just more sore than anything else.
Right, right.
Um,
But I mean, here's the thing is we've seen in years past when they're very lax in preseason. And then remember what happens when the regular season starts? They weren't ready. Do you remember in 2019 when the Bears were not ready early in the season under Matt Nagy? And then, of course, we always reference that 2023 week run against the Packers.
oh my God, that was such a bad game. They were so not ready to play.
No, they weren't ready to play at all. So we've
I mean, to
seen
be
them
fair,
be.
the Packers weren't either. Like that was just a bad game.
You're talking about 2019?
What was the one? It was like, what was it, it was like a low scoring game.
It was so 2019. That was when the Packers beat us 10-3.
Yes, that was the one I was talking about. That was a terrible game.
Awful
Oh, is that
game.
a awful? Both sides, just a bad game.
Right, right. It was. And I remember Adrian Amos first year with the Packers picking off Trubisky in the end zone.
Yeah, that was just such a bad game overall. Like both sides brutal, but the Bears especially just look abysmal. And I remember that game. I was watching it at my friend's house, and they had a big TV that they wheeled out. So he lives in like a row home, like in Chicago, and like the back alley is like private. Nobody drives through because it's already a secluded street. And they had all the neighbors out and a TV, and everyone was kind of watching it. And I was trying to be like a civilized human being, but my eye was twitching and I was filled with rage, and I just wanted to yell and scream.
Yeah, I was very, very pissed off after that one. And remember, too, wasn't that the preseason when like the starters just did not play?
Yeah, yeah,
Like you remember that, right?
yep. Like, it was infuriating. And Ben Johnson's the opposite, and he's catching some flack for it now. But you know what? Is players are going to get hurt. That's what happens, and you've got to be prepared for the season.
I
You just
just
have to
don't know
be.
what the solution would be. Like, is there some happy medium? Because you got to prepare, you got to get ready for the physicality of a season, but
It's
you
yeah,
also
because
don't
these
want to overextend people.
back in the day, they talked about like in the 80s, oh, the training camps were so hard, but it was mostly just like rigorous as far as like cardio because they didn't stay in shape all year round. Guys didn't, once that off season was done, they just went to drinking beer and they had to lose weight and they had to get back into shape. Like these guys stay in shape now. They're working off season. It's not cardio. It's different. You've got to get your body ready for hits. And so you've got to play physical practices or you're not going to be ready to play. And that offensive line, if they're not out there playing, that's how you get that offensive line to have cohesion. That's why running games are usually pretty rough in the first couple weeks because those offensive lines are not gelled. They might be able to pass protect, but to get that run protection, just not there. So you've got to get those guys ready. You got to get the reps. Um, and that's what's worrisome about the Braxton Jones, even if he just misses like a couple weeks out of precaution, is he's not gelling with the rest of the team.
Right. Right. It's interesting. It's a very good point you bring up because I think Tom Thayer was talking about it on the radio. When I drive into work, usually I catch on Thursdays, Thayer Thursdays on ESPN 1000. So, Tom Thayer is, talking about football, talking about camp, his experiences, the matchups, if they're in the season, whatever. But he was kind of alluding to that same thing, how different camp was then and now, because a lot of it was getting back into shape after an off season of whether it was drinking beers or having another job or doing whatever. So the fact that athletes now, not only in just football, but in all the sports, because it was the same thing with baseball, people showed up to spring training out of shape. Is there something to the fact that because they're so intense all year long, is that why we see more soft tissue injuries? Is it in part of that? Is another part of it the fact that we're better at diagnosing soft tissue injuries now than before? I feel like now a majority of these injuries are all soft tissue injuries. So does that have to do with the way they're conditioning themselves now compared to 20, 30, 40 years ago?
I mean, they're just bigger, faster, and stronger. I mean, that's, you if like you just look at, you and your friends playing basketball or playing football, how many people are tearing or ACLs and rupturing Achilles? It might happen every so often, but it's not the commonplace. In the NFL, that these guys are so much bigger and faster and stronger, and everything they do just torques the body so much more. Like when you have a 300-pound guy running a 5'3", 40, that's, how fast that is? As somebody
I
that
can't
tried
even
to run,
fathom that.
like I thought that's what the range I would run. And they, the difference between me and them and Luther Burden is about the same. Like they're just fast human beings.
It's incredible how they're that big, that stocky, and look how they can run. It, it's mind blowing when I look at some of these things. When you watch the combine and you see these guys run, and yeah, it's like you have okay, there's the skinny guy who's fast, but then you look at some of these big guys, and it's just like holy crap. And I mean, you see what Colson Loveland can do with how big he is. Like that is a tight end running like a wide receiver. Like that is a true weapon.
I mean, it is like and I mean, I look like Rich Eisen, right, running the 40. Like I laughed at Rich Eisen every year when he runs the 40 at the combine. That's like his tradition. You are you there? Did I
Yeah.
lose you? Oh, okay.
No.
Rich Eisen runs the 40 at the combine every year, and it's like a fundraiser type thing. It's like an awareness for St. Jude's. Um, but I was laughing. I'm like, oh my God, look how slow he is. And I'm like, oh my God, I run like Rich Eisen at this point.
That's awesome. I love that comparison.
Uh, Rich Eisen.
Did Rich
Um,
Eisen wear a Greedo mask though? And Greedo hands?
I didn't either, but I should have.
Who's this Greedo guy? I don't know, but sign him up because why not?
Uh, but yeah, I mean, we are on the eve of Bears football starting. So they play the Browns this Saturday, and I don't know if you've been following the Browns training camp. It sounds like it's a disaster.
Yeah, no, I know that Watson has been booed by the fans. I know there's just a lot of blah going on. I know
They're
that them and the Bengals have not had good camps because the Bengals got in a big fight day one.
Yeah, the Browns got in a big fight. And then I don't know if you saw, I think it was yesterday or Friday, their rookie wide receiver got tried to catch a ball and got walloped, and they had to help him off the field, and he got hot mic saying, cut that fucking quarterback.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Uh, so it is not a good time in the Browns camp. And then after that they get the Bengals, who have also not had a good camp.
Yeah,
Um,
because that was what, day one or day two they got into that big scuffle?
it was early on.
I thought it was
So
day one. I think it was day one.
But the Bears' three opponents in preseason are not very good teams right now. So it sort of sucks because you sort of want to get in there and physical it up, um, and get ready for the Panthers week one. But you know, it
You
is
have
what it
what you have
is.
to work with.
You deal you work with the hand you're dealt.
So, are they going to do a joint practice?
I was actually literally just Googling that as you said that.
Because I
Um,
thought I heard something about it, but I don't know who, I don't know what they're doing, but
they are doing two road joint practice schedules, August 20th with the Bengals and August 27th with the Titans.
there you go.
They're not hosting any this year.
Gotcha.
And those got chippy. Remember
Well, remember
last year against
last
the
year with the
Dolphins?
Dolphins? Yeah,
And the
uh-huh.
Dolphins were like, "Oh my, that's like the Super Bowl, blah blah blah. They're playing so hard." And I mean, and
How did
look,
both teams end up?
yeah. I mean, when your team's crying because a team played too hard in the preseason practice, and one team was abysmal and the other one was one play away from going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I don't know if you heard this too. Speaking of the physicality and intensity in camp, wasn't it Bush that just completely leveled Luther Burden the other day? Did you hear about that?
no.
Yeah, Deion Bush, big hit on him. People were talking about it.
So, I mean, you know what? It's you gotta play those practices. Got to be ready for the season,
Tell that to Matt Eberflus and his country club of clowns.
and that's why he's sitting with jobless right now.
I saw he got hired by somebody. Let me look that up because I think he's got a job somewhere.
Why do people keep hiring him?
Beats me. Beats me. Let's see. Matt Eberflus. I thought it was with like the 49ers or
It
something.
is. He is with the San Francisco 49ers. And they're a hot mess right now. Their head coach was drunk driving.
Yeah, and they're doing their very best to, you know, try to steer away from that word.
I mean, that's what he was. He's trying to say that this Tesla was self-driving, but
Yeah.
ah,
I don't
and they
know, Jim.
that was
He was
pretty
drunk.
yeah, and it's surprising they were able to sweep that under the rug for that long.
Yeah. Yeah, did you see the body cam footage?
No.
Ooh.
I saw the Tony Romo body cam footage.
Well, that's what I was referring to was
Oh,
the
no,
Tony Romo.
I was talking about the head coach of the 49ers.
Yeah, no, no, I know you were talking
Yeah,
about.
but
Yeah,
Tony Romo was, I mean, he was at least kind of funny.
he's like, no, I want my lawyer. It's like, dude, if you're innocent as you claim you are, then you would just do the breathalyzer and be zero. So clearly, you were not innocent.
I just like they're like, have you received any head injuries? And he just goes, not recently.
Yeah, assistant head coach of the defense, Matt Eberflus is. So they hire Matt Eberflus, and then this happens. Bad luck.
Oh.
Remember when multiple coaches under Eberflus were fired in
hmm
2023 under the Bears? Wasn't it their defensive coordinator that was assuming some really weird, gnarly shit?
I still don't know exactly what happened there. Um, but I mean, it was bad. Remember, people were like, "Oh, the FBI is there,"
Yeah, I remember that day. And
and
then,
they were like, you know, Charles Tillman was the one that was there leading the FBI raid of the Hallis Hall. The minute you give Bears fans an inch of room to fabricate a story, they will go wild.
oh, yeah. And then Ryan Poles had to come out. Yeah, guys, the FBI is not here.
Like the minute your GM has to tell you that the FBI wasn't there, like that's bad.
Yeah, I'll say.
They
And
should
I
have just
just,
fired. They should have just fired everybody at that day.
I just had these visions It's like, have you seen the movie Christmas Vacation?
Yes, of course.
It's like when the SWAT team is breaking into the Griswold's house, you have the SWAT team breaking into all the windows at Hallis Hall. Freeze! I said freeze. May we blink?
Oh man. Uh, but I'm just ready for football. Um, it just can't come here quick enough.
Ditto.
And uh, so the crappy part is this first game is at noon on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the morning you're just gonna be like, I'm anticipating this, so I can't really do anything else. And then, you're watching the game, it's the afternoon. So it just like takes your whole Saturday. Like that's a Sunday activity. Give me Saturday night. Or, honestly, I hate that they play in Europe, but I like those European games where it's like it's the first thing in the morning and you're watching football at like 8 a.m. All right. Wake up, watch some football.
Oh yeah, it's a good feeling. I love the Sunday noon game more than anything, but the Saturday noon game, yeah, no, I definitely agree. Saturdays are usually much busier at certain times, so yeah. But hey, I'll just be happy football's back regardless. I do miss though, you mentioned it's funny. I feel like when I was a teenager, they played a lot more preseason games at night. My dad's coworker had season tickets, and he'd always give us the preseason games because he's like, my dad's coworker is like, I don't really want to go to the preseason games, and my dad's like, we'll take them. He's like, all right, here you go. And those were like every preseason game I went to when I was like a teen slash kid, they were all night games at Soldier Field right at the end of the summer.
Huh.
I
So
saw Jay Cutler's first ever game as a Bear,
I remember
2009.
I remember exactly where I was when I saw the trade the Bears got Jay Cutler.
I remember Bors and Bernstein going crazy on 670 the score. Oh, we all thought that was going to be the last piece of the puzzle.
R.I.P. Terry Bors.
Yep,
I almost said
R.I.P.
Dan Bernstein. And I was like, oh, that would have been bad.
Yeah, yeah, R.I.P. Terry Bors. Bye, Cracky.
I'm searching Alan Williams here. So he was doing inappropriate, not illegal things.
So just being a weirdo.
Yeah. And HR was involved, but he resigned because of health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep, health reasons.
let's see. Hold on. So the detailed rumor, uh, Williams was engaged in sexually inappropriate behavior on an electronic device with a woman while inside his office at Hallis Hall, described as occurring between meetings, after practice, before practice, all the time. The woman then allegedly tried to extort him with one photo showing the Bears logo in the background. This triggered a longer internal investigation. Bears security searched his office. He ultimately resigned and was paid the remainder of his salary.
Duh. I didn't know the details. I didn't even know the details were public. I just knew he was doing inappropriate things and he, quote, resigned due to health reasons, but it was basically like resign or you're fired.
I mean, I'm
That's all
sure
I
that's what
knew.
happened, but I can't believe they paid him.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, the Bears are going to be here soon enough. I'm very high. Everything I've seen, the offense looks good. I know they've said, oh, they've had some bad practices, but I think that's relative. Because we saw what practices looked like last year, and nothing was resembling that. Um, I, I know the defense kind of sucked last year, but think about how many injuries they had and what that defensive backfield looked like. And to think of how many turnovers they got with just scrubs and guys off the street. And, um, and they like last year at this time, it was expected that Terrell Smith was going to win that outside corner spot. And he went out for the year with an injury. Jalen Johnson missed most of the season. Kyler Gordon missed almost the entire season. So your three expected starting cornerbacks all out. Um, and you still made you're one play away from making the NFC Championship. So I, as for rough of a shape that they were in on the defense, how many linebackers got hurt? They ended up signing DeMarco Jackson off the street.
Man, look how
Uh,
good he was.
and you had Austin Booker, who's probably your second best edge rusher, started the season on uh, the injured list. Your big free agent signing defensive end Dio Dengbo missed a big chunk of the season. Your second round defensive lineman that you drafted missed most of the season. Grady Jarrett played, from an insider source, played most of the season injured with a knee injury. Ended up having surgery that people didn't know about. Um, and so it's it's for all that they played much better than you anticipated, even though they were still very bad defense.
Right. Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I just hope that some of these injuries can be mitigated and that we can at least look at some of them like a Luther Burden and say, okay, he'll miss some time, but it's not going to be a ton of time.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that everybody is healthy, you know, soon.
Yep.
All right. Should we talk a little baseball?
Yes.
Sale was ejected before first pitch.
Which I missed that.
I'm just looking at that. Braves ace Chris Sale ejected before first pitch versus Yankee. Argues with umpire. Um, Television cameras caught Sale having an intense conversation from inside the dugout with plate umpire Dan Bellino, who was leaning over the railing. The other umpires were within earshot of the conversation, and third base umpire Dan Merzel ultimately motioned for Sale to be thrown out. It all happened with the Yankees defense set. Starting pitcher Cam Schlittler on the mound and Braves leadoff man Drake Baldwin nearing ready to at bat. The ejection comes one day after a contentious balk call against Sale in his career his start against the Yankees. Manager Walt Weiss was ejected after arguing the call that allowed Spencer Jones to score from third base with one out in the fifth inning. Sale, who had two strikes reversed into balls earlier the same game, also complained about the call. The Braves went on to lose 5-4. Chris Sale is a hothead. Just don't give the guy some scissors.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking about that with some coworkers recently, the whole cutting up of the jersey thing. That is still one of the most bizarre stories ever.
Um, yeah. So should we talk White Sox or Cubs? Where do you want
I'll let you decide.
to? Let's talk Cubs.
Okie dokie.
Uh, so the Cubs are playing some good baseball here.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, you took two or three from the Royals, you swept the Dodgers. Who would have seen that coming?
I mean that was huge, and that says a whole lot because I mean, I know. Let me take a step back here. Is baseball? We talk a lot about what teams look like, and baseball is so up and down. And one week you can be playing shitty, and the Dodgers are playing some of their shittiest baseball right now. But they are not the same Dodgers that we're going to see in the postseason. But
No.
we still swept them because those wins right now are very important for the Cubs.
Yeah, you swept them and you won a game that was started by the debut of Tariq Skubal for the Dodgers.
Yeah. And Scooble looked semi unhittable. Like he just looked great. And you stayed in that game, got a couple runs off of him, and ultimately eked that game out.
Yep,
Like that,
the home run
that's
by Swanson was big. Yep.
got a home run by Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, um, it was, it was, huge to win that series.
It
Um,
was. I mean, and the offense looked great. They were hitting like crazy. And then it was all capped off by which you're now in a tight MVP race with Otani and PCA. And how do you like it how both PCA and Otani in the finale of the series go 3 for 5, each hitting 2 homers?
yeah.
That's insane. That is one of those MLV like vault games that we're going to be watching a few years later.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, game two of that series, Scooble pitched 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, and you just kept battling and battling, even though he pitched really well. And then you got to the bullpen. And on your side, you Assad pitched great.
Yeah, you could not have asked for any better from him. He was phenomenal.
Yeah. And the bullpen came in and you realize why you overpaid for Zephyr John.
Mm-hmm.
And the bullpen looked great. And and then that third game of the series, I was sure the Cubs weren't going to win that one. And sure enough, the Cubs came through.
And that
And
was one where the bullpen did get a little dicey, but
they did. Ferguson looked bad. Um,
well, Thielbar was really the
I'm sorry, Thielbar was the one that was bad. Ferguson was
Ferguson
he's
was
been
really
fine.
good.
Yeah, but Thielbar,
Yeah.
he's been real bad lately.
Yeah. Here, the funny thing about Thielbar is he's got a lot of good peripherals, like in terms of strikeouts and bat missing. Like he's got a ton of strikeouts, but he's giving up way too many homers. At the end of the day, you can't do that as a high leverage reliever. You just can't.
No, no, and he's not going to be high leverage, very much longer.
I mean,
Um,
you got guys coming back. You have
yeah,
Palencia coming back, and you have Zefran
Valencia's
in
going to
there.
probably go back to being your closer. Zephyr John's probably going to be your setup guy, um, and you're going to Thielbar's going to lose those leverage. He's going to be that guy, and um, that's that. I mean, you earn your innings.
Yep. And like the opposite side, Jacob Webb, he's earned his innings.
Yeah. You had the makeup game against the Blue Jays, and that one was a great comeback win.
That was so stupid. So it was in the middle of a Thursday. I'm at work. I'm in the office, and I'm checking the score every now and then. I'm coming out of meetings, checking the score, and as I'm leaving, it was the seventh inning. The Blue Jays made it 2-0. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's probably it. But I go turn on the radio, and I'm listening to the rest of the game. And going to the ninth inning, they're facing the all-star closer who hasn't blown a save yet of the Blue Jays. Hadn't blown a save yet to that point. Had an ERA under 2 and a FIP of like 1.5. This is Varland I'm talking about, by the way, their closer. And I'm like, you know what? I think we're going to win this game. PCA leads off with the single, and then down to their last strike, Alex Bregman finally has his moment as a Cub. Finally, I mean, he's been hitting well overall lately, but he's been doing much more damage on the road. It's been really tough at home, but he finally had his big moment as a Cub at home. And rounding the bases with the place going nuts, it was just cool to see him finally have that moment because we'd been waiting for it.
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time. And It's 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 well overdue. Um, so, but yeah, that was a well-earned victory, and Peterson could not have been pitched better. You know, uh, like you, everything you could have wanted from that guy holding down the fort, he did.
He's been so effective outside of one start. That one start where he just got absolutely lit up by the Cardinals. Otherwise, he's been he's been great.
Um, yeah, I mean, that was that was a huge pickup there. I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but where would they have been without him pitching that well?
I know. Definitely not here. Uh, and now the nice thing is, you got kind of a good problem on your hands because it's like, okay, this rotation, how are we going to put it together? Is he going to stay? Who's going to go where? I mean, ultimately, they moved Colin Ray to the pen, which I'm kind of glad. I'd rather have David Peterson in there, quite frankly. He gets more ground balls.
Hmm.
And, I just think that was the right move. But it's, now you have like okay. You still have Assad as an option, and then you have Peterson, but now you got Gausman and Boyd and Shota Imanaga. So, like, you actually have guys in there again. Knock on wood that nobody gets hurt, but you have guys now.
It's true. Um, and then Gausman pitched really well on Friday against. I mean, I know it was against Kansas City, and they're not the greatest team, but you know, you've got these are professional baseball teams. You got to win those games, and he came in, pitched well. They won that game.
Yep.
Uh, and Saturday was disappointing. Um,
Me and my friends were watching the Schaumburg Boomers beat the Mississippi Mud Monsters 18-4.
I love minor league team names.
I just love minor league baseball too. It's so much fun. It's such a fun vibe. But yeah, I'm gonna give Clay Holmes a little bit of rope. It was his first start back off the IL.
Yeah, it was just that was a shitty start. Um,
Yeah.
you made 4 innings, and you walked two, gave up a home run, gave up 4 runs, and Colin Ray came in and didn't pitch too much better. Um, not a good performance. And I got a little nervous what would happen today because I was like, oh man, if they, after sweeping the Dodgers, taking the rain delay against the Blue Jays, you can't lose this series. And they came out today and just absolutely pounded the Royals.
Yeah, no, they did what we've wanted to do to the Royals and just beat the crap out of them, and that's exactly what they did. And you had multiple like 3-hit games. You had one from Bregman and Bush, and they just kind of kept the line moving the entire game. And Miguel Amaya hit a big home run, and Matthew Boyd pitched great again. So
Happer had a three hit game.
he did, yes. Who Ian Happ had been struggling really, really badly. So these last two games for him have obviously been much better. And, he kind of tied the knot all together with that big home run that he hit to really put the game out of reach.
Yeah. And Boyd pitched really well. Boyd is 8-1.
Hmm. Ever since coming back, he's looked really, really good.
He's got a 3.5 ERA, 8-1. Uh, it's it, secretly some of these Cubs pitchers, they're coming back, or uh, you know, but we'll see what happens here.
Hmm.
Um, you've got a series next this week against the Nationals, and Nationals they're not a joke team, but they're also under 500. Um,
They can hit, but they can't pitch. So you're going
yeah.
to need to score off
Um,
them.
yeah. Uh, in the first, what scares me is the guy that's pitching for them in game one has a mid 5 ERA, which
Oh,
means
no.
it's going to happen.
It's going to be either the Cubs are going to absolutely pound him or they're going to make him look like Sandy Koufax.
Yeah. Uh, Game two is Miles Mikolas, who with a just under 6 ERA.
You have to do what you've done over the past few years to him.
Um, and then Cavalli with his mid three ERA in against Peterson on the final game. But then you get three against the Cardinals to wrap up that weekend, and you got to beat them. You got to beat them down.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
No, this is the stretch where you want to collect some wins, and you know, I'm so glad they're getting a day off on Monday because they needed it badly.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um, so I know it's not a huge um, climb, but the Cubs are slowly but surely coming back on Milwaukee.
I I'm not I just
Um,
they just don't lose. They
but
don't lose.
but man, the rest of the NL Central is starting to come back down to earth. The Cardinals are 15 games back of the Brewers.
Yeah.
15 games back. Looking at the NL wild card, uh, the Cubs, the Cubs are six up on the number two wild card seed.
Which is
There's
Philly, right?
it's Arizona and Philly are tied,
Okay.
same record. So they're six up on both of them. And then the first team out of it is San Diego Padres, and the Cubs are 7.5 up on them. So you're starting to see that separation here. So Colorado out, Giants out, Mets out. I'm saying Reds out. Man, this hurts my heart, and I am totally at fault for it. But Pittsburgh might be out of it here.
They're fading. I
I,
think if Pittsburgh wants to get back into it, I think they have a few weeks. But if they don't do it within a few weeks, then I think they're officially done.
they've they're 5.5 out of wild card, and they've got to leapfrog one, two, three, four, five different teams. That's not saying it's
Yeah,
not possible. It's just
odds are low.
odds are low, and I jinxed them because I thought that they would make a push, and they went 3-7 after that.
I thought they could make a push too, but you know what? Paul Skeens ain't looking so hot these days.
No,
And they have a
yeah,
couple of injuries on the offense. But yeah, Paul Skeens looking very mortal.
yeah. I mean, nobody's really making that push in the NL wild card race. Um, Arizona and Philly are 6-4 in their last 10 on a one-game winning streak each. Like that's been enough to keep them up there. San Diego is 6-4 in their last 10. Miami's 5-5. St. Louis is 5-5. Washington's 4-6. Pittsburgh's 3-7. Like nobody's making that push. It is literally just time moving on, and time is all of their enemy.
Yep.
You've got to make this push. Um, it's the teams that jumped out to the early division leads for the most part are hanging on. Uh, Milwaukee still in first. It has the best record in all of baseball. Yeah, all of
Yep.
baseball.
Yep. It's so frustrating. The Cubs are 19 games above 500 and they're still 5.5 back.
Yeah. The Dodgers. The Dodgers are 2-8 in their last 10.
Yeah,
Two
they
and
lost
eight.
what, seven in a row?
Yeah, they're still 7.5 games up.
Yeah, well,
Uh, Atlanta. Atlanta's pulling away. They're playing really well. They're 8.5 up on Philly. None of those teams are catching up. Um, so I um I'm looking up the MLB postseason probabilities here. So Baseball Reference now has what do they have for the Cubbies? They have um they have the Cubs as a 98.7% chance of making the playoffs. St. Louis down to 16, Pittsburgh below 8. Reds 1.2%. Nationals down to 13.1. Phillies below 62%. Arizona's at 57%. Padres at 27% and fading. Cubs chance to win the division 6.3%.
Yeah, not great.
Not fantastic. But they're at 7% to win the World Series. Let's take a look what Fangraphs has. They've been pretty even on the Cubs. It's been the White Sox that they've differed on here. Um, they have the Cubs at 99% to make the postseason, 6.5% to win the World Series. So
About the
about the
same.
same. About the same. It's funny. Like some of these teams, they're just identical at it. The White Sox, one of them hates the White Sox. It's Fangraphs. Fangraphs hates the White Sox. They still have them at around 50% to make the playoffs.
That's insanity.
It's at 51.2%.
It's insane.
But Baseball Reference has them at 82%.
Yeah, it feels about right.
That feels more right to me. Feels much more right. So yeah, I mean the Cubs have played really well. The Ian Happ's finally breaking out a little bit about time. Um, Bregman's starting to hit. PCA is the front runner in every metric for MVP. Um, so yeah, I mean, knock on wood, things have things have it's have taken a turn for the in the Cubs' favor since the trade deadline.
Knocking on wood.
Knocking
I
on wood.
must knock on wood.
Uh, um, Switching gears on the White Sox. Uh, things have not been so hot for them. Um,
But they just beat 2 out of 3 in Cleveland, so now they're in
yeah,
more than
that's the
fine
important.
shape.
That's the important one. Is I know I know Boston had their number. And it would have been really nice to get that extra inning win on Thursday from
Yeah,
Boston.
that was tough. But man, Boston, that heater that they went on was insane.
And it's wild they lost it to the A's.
You got to lose. It's always the team you'd expect to beat that ends that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Um, so, you played really well against the Rays before that, but Boston came in and kind of kicked your ass a little bit. And, that's fine. It's going to happen. But, uh, we're bouncing back and taking 2 or 3 from the Guardians, especially after you dropped that first one. Uh, they roughhoused you a little bit on that first one. Um, you know, you your bullpen shit the bed on that, and your hitters just weren't hitting. Um, so that sort of sucks. Uh, you know, a lot of Mydroth multiple strikeout game, Murakami a multiple strikeout game, Colston Montgomery a multiple strikeout game. Your big guys did not come, and Vargas went over 3. So your big bats went silent in that first game, and it didn't bode well. But you know what? You stuck with it, and you took the next 2, and um, that's that was huge. Like it doesn't matter what their overall record is. It matters what happens in the division because it doesn't that just all that matters. Just win the
Yeah,
division.
the rest of the division's crap. So just win who you're supposed to win against, and everything will be fine when it comes to just trying to get to the playoffs. And, it seems like every time it looks like the Sox are going to dip, they rattle off a couple of big wins. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, the series of Boston was just all out ugly. And you feel like you should have won that third one. You had a lead of 4-0, 5-2. I thought Castillo, I was watching it with a friend at a restaurant, so I didn't really see it in depth, but it looked like Castillo was pitching pretty well, and then things kind of fell apart defensively and with him. And then it was just such a crazy back and forth game. Chase Mydroth had the huge game. He looked so good in that game, hitting home runs over the Green Monster, but Boston was just kind of a team of destiny that game. It was frustrating because the White Sox were an out away, a strike away, whatever it was, and then they tied, and then it was that extra inning bonanza. But with how worked those pitchers are, they had to call up both Smith and McDougal. So now we get to see what they look like for a little bit.
What's wild to me is that you went in 13 innings, you scored 11 runs, and Murakami went 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Um, so it's it's kind of funny that that happens that way. But yeah, you take 2 out of 3 from the Guardians, and you should be able to beat up on the Reds, and then you get a series against the Tigers to wrap up the week. So like it's 2 teams you should beat. And if you're looking at the standings, like you're in first place by 3.5 games, so you've got a little bit of a cushion. And actually, Detroit is now in second place.
Wouldn't it be wild if the Tigers make the playoffs after selling off Tariq Skubal and Casey Mize?
They won't. I mean, here's the thing: is we've seen it before after trades. Team will get a little bit hot. The where having those 2 really good pitchers, especially a Skubal, is when you lose a couple in a row, they're a streak stopper. They stop the bleeding. They let you course correct without going into a deep run. And that's where they're going to get caught is, they might play well and have a couple of good games, but when the going gets tough, not having a Tarek Skubal is going to suck and they're going to feel it.
90%, 99% of the time, I'm right there with you. But look at the other teams in the American League.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens is next weekend. The White Sox have 3 against the Tigers. And if if the White Sox if the White Sox sweep that, they've got a commanding lead.
I'm not talking about the Tigers winning the division. I'm just them making the playoffs. I mean, look at the wild card. It's a joke.
So right now, Detroit is the first team out of the wild card. They're 1 game out. And actually
Right there.
the first 3 teams outside of the wild card are from the AL Central. Detroit, Minnesota, and Cleveland.
And I don't think any of those teams are that good, but who's
No.
the other competition?
I mean, really, it's so you've got your 3 division leaders, and Tampa Bay is very good. The Yankees are very good. Boston is very good. The White Sox are pretty darn good. Houston is playing well right now. I don't know how good they are, but they're
I don't know
playing.
how good they are, but if you're going to look at a team that maybe flies, quote, under the radar this year and turns it on, I could see it being that team.
I mean, there's a good probability that a player on Houston wins the Triple Crown.
Oh yeah, Alvarez he's
I
insane.
mean, if you're just looking at American League, he's like 30 points up in batting average.
Yeah,
Like
he's the best. He's the best hitter in baseball right now.
he's phenomenal. Like that batting average, there's nobody's gonna beat him there. Maybe home runs or RBIs, but I mean, he's helping carry that team. Houston's playing well, and Texas and Seattle are just falling off. They're both of those teams are on, losing streaks. Seattle's lost 4 or 5 in a row, and Houston's won 7 of their last 10. And they're barely above 500, but they're winning that division. Um, you know, to, whoever doesn't win the AL East, the next 2 teams are going to be the top 2 wild card teams.
Right.
That's just going to flat out happen. And Boston might end up winning this division.
It's possible.
I
It's
mean,
possible.
Tampa's making it hard, but I think they're going to overtake the Yankees. Um, but Texas is not good. They're the final wild card team, and they're 500.
Yeah, I don't see them. Yeah.
So looking at this, the Angels, the A's, and the Royals are out. They're all
Hmm.
bad. Um, I'm I'm counting out Seattle and Toronto.
Yep, me too.
I'm sticking a dagger in them. Baltimore's hanging in there. Um, but there's just somebody should have run away with this already.
I know. It's insane. So many disappointing teams in the AL.
Yeah.
Few surprising, including the White Sox, but you look at disappointing teams, the Tigers, the Mariners, maybe the Astros, but they're kind of playing much better. I mean, they were written off early, but they're kind of storming back.
So the
But
Astros
that
have a
Blue Jays too, they're disappointing.
the Blue Jays are very disappointing, and they're now down to 8% to make the playoffs. Baltimore's at 7%. They don't believe in Baltimore. Um, Detroit's at 42%, Cleveland 26, Minnesota's at 17, Astros at 66, Rangers at 39, Mariners at 13%. And Tampa, Yankees, Red Sox are all over 99% to make the playoffs. And actually, to win the division, ooh man, they have Tampa at 70% to win the division.
Hmm.
And then roughly the same odds for the Yankees or Red Sox to win it. What about win the World Series? So Boston is the AL favorite to win the World Series.
Who would have said that a month ago?
I know, right? Like we thought they were gonna end up being one of the worst teams in baseball. They have been on a heater.
We were talking about Aroldis Chapman going to one of the Chicago teams.
Yeah. Um, but yeah. So I mean, but back to the White Sox. White Sox are playing well. They're winning the games that they need to win, which is the important thing.
Right.
And they've got two winnable series coming up, and one of them's a key series. That Detroit series is important, just like the Cleveland one was important this week. And
Exactly.
and that's the hard part about the way that division is kind of falling is you've got three teams that are not that good, but they're taking turns who's going to be second place. And you've got to, with the Cubs, the other teams in the division are sort of beating themselves up. So the Cubs aren't having to beat anybody else off. They're just
That's
playing
what
base.
she said.
Good one. Uh, I mean, but you're not having to fend anybody off there. You just oh, you're playing the Cardinals, and you could really put the dirt on them and bury them. But like, even if they sweep you, like they're still not catching up, really. Um, but the White Sox, they're in that position. They've got to keep fending off three different teams that are taking turns of who's on the hot streak, which makes it hard. But I mean, that's what happens when you are the division leader.
Right.
Um, but the White Sox did get some rough news with Joey Bart.
Yeah, the fracture, and they just picked him up too.
That that sucked because they were like, okay, they got that veteran catcher that they needed, and then he suffered a metacarpal fracture in his left hand. He got hit by a 98-mile-an-hour fastball in the Red Sox game. So he's expected to miss a month of baseball. So he'll be sidelined somewhere until mid-September, which sucks because they need him now.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, uh, Kyle Teal is still hurt. So, you had to call up Edgar
Caro.
Caro.
Yep, who's been up and down.
Yeah. So you're having to rely on Caro, and that's, you know, you don't feel that confident there. I mean, luckily, as long as your big hitters are staying healthy, like you're gonna have to live with it. But um, you know, Edgar Caro with his sub 500 OPS.
Yeah.
His OPS is lower than Acuna's.
Oof. Just hope he can develop defensively because you're going to need that improved as well behind there.
He does have twice as many home runs as Acuna, though.
Well, yeah, most people do.
I think you might have twice as many home runs as Acuna.
I can't joke though because the Cubs and the White Sox are playing next week, and I know Acuna is going to homer off Cub pitching. I just know it.
It's probably going to happen. That's just all the way it goes. Oh, unlikely hero, Acuna with his 277 slug went 3 for 3 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs.
You know, Ron, the guy doesn't even hold his bat the right way, but he just hit his first career home run against the Cubs. That's the stuff that happens to them.
Uh, it is. It really is. But I mean, yeah, the White Sox, I think, are still have a really good shot of uh making the postseason and win this division. 3.5 game cushion. They should take care of business against the Reds. And, you win 2 out of 3 against the Tigers, and that suddenly is gonna propel it's gonna propel probably um, the Twins into second place.
Yep. And they're not that good.
No, they're not that good either. So they're a half game. So right now, Detroit is 3.5 games behind you. Minnesota and Cleveland are both 4 games behind you. So it's going to be musical chairs with those 3 teams. And you just got to keep fending those 3 teams off. And they're not that good, but you just got to win those games. So it makes it harder because it doesn't matter what you do outside of those as much, but you just got to keep winning those games against the those 3 teams. Um,
Yep.
and how many more games do you even have against them? Schedule. Let's see. 3 against the Tigers. 3 against the Twins. Both this month. About September. 3 more against the Twins next month. 3 more against I'm sorry, next month. 3 more against the Guardians next month. 4 against Detroit next month. So it looks like 7 against Detroit, 3 against the Guardians, and 6 against the Twins. So not that many. You're quickly wrapping those games up.
Indeed.
And not really anything going on with the Bulls and the Blackhawks.
Nope, nope. I got nothing. But
Like,
they'll be here before you know it.
yeah, I mean it's coming up here. Uh, yeah, that's something. Like I think Scott Powers is like this is the time he goes on vacation because there's nothing going on.
Right, right.
Um, so he put he did his Blackhawks tidbits, and then he's gonna skedaddle on vacation.
That time of
Um,
year.
yep. But so is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, I've said my piece.
Um, I saw that Don Nelson died.
Did he?
He did. 86 years old.
Huh.
Won
Oh
5 NBA
yeah.
titles.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
Yeah, he had a stroke 3 weeks ago.
Oh, there's a great video of him getting into Karl Malone's face and giving him the business. Yeah, that's too bad. The other sad thing is, I don't know if you saw, but it sounds like Tommy John is in hospice.
I saw that the Yankees posted that his letter to the fans. That's sad. Um, I don't know exactly what's happening with him, but it doesn't sound like he's in good health. He that guy had a long professional career.
Yep, and that surgery revolutionized the way pitchers are treated with certain injuries.
It really did. Imagine, I mean, you know, before that surgery, essentially your career was done.
Right.
Like, just imagine how baseball would be different without the Tommy John surgery.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I know he's the guy that has the name attached to it, but he's just the guy that got the surgery.
Right.
He's not the one that innovated it or
I'm gonna
anything.
do the surgery on myself.
It's like, just give me anesthesia in my arm.
Just flopping around.
He's like, just rub some Bengay on it. I'm gonna do surgery. But yeah, it's a sad story. Um,
Lived a hell of
so
a life though.
it's true. What, 20, 25, 26 years in MLB?
He should be in the Hall of Fame in my opinion.
I think so. I think so. But not my say. I don't have a vote.
I wish we had votes, but we do not.
They should. We're probably better voters than half the voters.
Yeah, really, with their personal agendas and biases.
Oh my God, some of those, and I hate the ones where they write an article about why they voted for. Like, shut up. Like,
We don't
if
want to hear about it.
if you voted the way you should have, like, it would have been the most boring article ever.
Right.
Like, I voted for Ricky Henderson to go into the Hall of Fame. Like, you should have wrote
Oh, really?
like, oh, did you also vote for Babe Ruth? Or I I had a bad experience with Ricky Henderson, so I didn't vote him in.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well then you're just a dumb jackass. Like, I don't tell you, like there's like dudes that definitely belong in the Hall of Fame, and you don't vote for them, then that's on you. Like,
Yep.
the steroids are just a whole nother thing, but you know, any other thing, just like just vote. If you watch those players, you know who belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, exactly.
Uh, like Carlos Beltran belonged in the Hall of Fame. Like, as much as I don't like him, um, Jeff Kent was an incredible hitting second baseman.
Yes, he was.
There's not very many of those in the Hall of Fame,
No, no.
and especially in the modern era. Like, I mean, you could count them on, like, one and a half hands. Like, there's not very many, and Jeff Kent was really good. Um, and Andrew Jones, that guy was a revolutionary fielding center fielder.
Yes, yes.
He played on a really good team and just absolutely stellar defender. And, if you didn't put him in, I'm not going to lose sleep on it. But if you tell me you voted for him, like, I'm not going
Yep,
to
I'm
argue
down
with
with
it.
it. Yep.
I'm, um, so, uh, I, let's see who was, Chase Utley did not make it. Didn't think he should have. He was a Hall of Very Good. Andy Pettit didn't make it again. Hall of Very Good. Uh, Felix Hernandez, he was absolutely phenomenal for a very short amount of time.
If he would have pitched longer, like more effectively, he would have been in the Hall of Fame, but he dropped off kind of quick.
Um, A-Rod, we know why he's not in. Um, Manny Ramirez not in. We know why. Bobby Abreu, Hall of Very Good. Jimmy Rollins, Hall of Very Good. Cole Hamels, Hall of Very Good. Dustin Pedroia, Hall of Try Hard. Like, okay, I'm no nobody in this list.
I do think you can make an argument for Cole Hamels. I think one day he could get in, but
All right, Cole Hamels versus Mark Burley.
probably Cole Hamels. I
I
mean,
mean,
look at
both
Cole Hamels' numbers.
he was a very good pitcher, very good. Um, yeah, but this list, after a while, why does Sinshu Chu have more votes than Daniel Murphy? Daniel Murphy was a really good baseball player for a couple of years.
Yeah, I just don't know if he was good long enough.
I mean, to get more votes than Sinshu Chu.
Yeah. Well, didn't Sinsu Chu kind of have longer of a prime? Maybe not as good of a prime, but
Uh, Ryan Braun,
we know why.
we know why. David Wright, it's because he had the stupid giant helmet.
Well,
You can't vote for a guy in the Hall of Fame who wears that dumb batting helmet.
well, David Wright, he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if he didn't have the injuries.
He was a very good baseball player when he was healthy.
Same with Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah. Um, who's up next year? 2027. Chase Utley won't make it again. Andy Pettit, Felix Hernandez, A-Rod. Who's their first ballots? Buster Posey. He'll make it.
He'll make it.
John Lester.
Maybe someday. I still put him on the very fringe. I
I
I don't
I
think he's quite Hall of Fame good.
um I think he will make it in. It's going to be it might be the Veterans Committee, it might be a
Yeah.
couple tries. Um Brett Gardner is on a first ballot.
No.
No, Ryan Zimmerman,
No. Hall of Very Good.
Kyle Seager,
No.
Irvin Santana,
No.
Astrobal Cabrera.
No.
So is next year just Buster Posey?
Probably.
Do they does anybody get a bump? I mean, Cole Hamels, I mean, I think he only got less than 24%.
If you're going to talk about John Lester, then Cole Hamels needs to be just in front of him.
I'm just saying he was so low in his first. Is he going to get that big of a jump?
I don't know how
And
big of a jump he'll get, but I do think he should get a jump.
I think he'll get a jump. I think a lot of people will get a jump. Does Chase Utley, he was at 59.1%. Does he get enough of a bump because there's nobody else?
Maybe a little bit.
Buster Posey's going in there, right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
So is he going to be the only guy? Oh wait, here's some more first ballots. Todd Frazier, no.
No,
Josh Reddick, no.
no,
Jake Arrieta,
no,
no. Scott Kazmir,
no,
Jordan Zimmerman,
no,
J.A. Happ,
no,
Trevor Bauer,
no,
Pablo Sandoval,
no,
Jay Bruce,
no,
Jonathan Lucroy,
no,
Dexter Fowler,
no,
Joakim Soria,
no,
Starlin Castro,
no,
Alex Avila,
no,
Wilson Ramos.
no,
Oh, here's indefinite yes. John Jay,
totally.
Wade Davis,
No,
Tony Watson,
no,
Derek Holland,
no.
Andrew Miller.
I don't know if his prime was long enough.
I don't think it's he might
Same
he
with
might
Wade Davis.
both of those guys I think will get a bunch of votes, but I don't know if they'll make it. Um, Neftali Feliz,
No,
Will Harris,
no,
John Axford.
no. John Axford, wow. Yeah, no.
And, I mean, that would be wild if it's just Buster Posey.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be.
Um, so the internet thinks Chase Utley and Felix Hernandez could make bumps that could get them in next year.
I mean, I'd love to see King Felix. I just don't think his prime was long enough.
No, but his prime was real good.
His prime was incredible. It was incredible.
Um,
If he did it for another maybe 4 or 5 years, I think he'd have a much stronger case.
yeah. Um, I think Andy Pettit will make it in at some point.
Oh,
They,
oh,
it,
he's the
and it's
most overrated pitcher
it,
ever.
I agree with you. I'm saying it's because he was a Yankee. That that New York symbol on his hat is going to get him in.
Ah, Mike Mussina was infinitely a better pitcher.
I agree. And Mike
And
Mussina would have gone in as an Oriole.
Andy Pettit was not that great. Like, you know how many seasons of like mid fours ERAs he had? But he
Oh,
had a lot of wins because he played on the Yankees. Before we wrap up the show, let's look at the career stats of Andy Pettit.
all right.
And I know he won some big postseason games. I'm not saying he was bad, but all right, I'm pulling up his fan graphs right now. American former baseball player, Andy Pettit. Okay, pulling it up now. I'm sure his WAR numbers probably look really good, and they do. His WAR numbers are good. But okay, 385 ERA, a 374 FIP, an xFIP of 370. And that doesn't account for all seasons. They weren't counting xFIP until 2002, but a 385 ERA. Now he's got a good number of wins, 256.
That's the wins, the World Series, and the Yankee factor are what's going to get him in.
You're probably right. I just
King Felix should be ahead of him though.
I agree. I mean, look, again, I'm not saying he was a bad pitcher. He had some really good seasons, but I mean, like if you look at like one of his best seasons ever, remember that very short those few years he was in Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the one year he had a 239 ERA. He was really good that year. He also had a 288 ERA when he was 25. He's had some really good years, but like 1998, 424, 1999, 470, 2000, 435, 2003, 402. Uh,
I mean, look at the what was it the 96 season where he had like 22 wins or whatever.
mhm.
Uh he had almost a 4 ERA that year.
Yeah. Yeah, he was 21-8 with a 387 ERA. Again, not bad at all. Not bad at all. But
But
I
in
just
96, the number that stuck out was 21-8.
correct.
Like
Correct.
it is time has changed the perception of Andy Pettit.
And like I said, he pitched some big games. He has a career 381 postseason ERA, and that is in, let's see, how many postseason? So 44 postseason starts, a 381 ERA. Again, good. That's good. Like his overall stats are good, but they're not Hall of Fame good, in my opinion. I mean, his strikeout numbers, 2,448. Nothing to gawk at. But he wasn't a strikeout machine. His career K per nine was 6.64. And I get it, it was a different era, which is fair, but I don't know. I've always felt that he's been kind of overrated. He's had some very good seasons, but as a whole, 385 ERA, that's pretty darn good. It's not amazing.
And also that 250 plus win mark, like I don't know how many pitchers are ever going to get that again.
You know who Andy Pettitte is? He's Eli Manning. Maybe
Yes.
a little less dramatic because it's hard to compare like interceptions to whatever a pitcher does, but it's like he won a lot. The numbers overall are good, but I think he's getting propped up by championships and the team he was on.
But look at King Felix from 2009 to 2015. Uh like 2010, that guy had a 7 B war. Um with a 2.27 ERA. And where's those strikeout numbers?
Yeah, King Felix in his prime. I would love to see him in the Hall of Fame. Again, if he would have done it for 3 or 4 more years in prime form, he would have been a shoo-in.
Almost consistently for his entire career, between 8 and 9 Ks per nine.
So here's something interesting. Felix Hernandez, he pitched in, let's see, how many innings? 2,729 and 2/3. Andy Pettitte pitched in 3,316 innings. So there's quite a difference there in innings. Felix Hernandez has more strikeouts in his career than Andy Pettitte does. And again, strikeouts aren't everything, but yeah, I mean, 3.42 ERA, 3.52 FIP. He was definitely the more talented of the pitchers, but he didn't have the longevity and he didn't have the hardware.
Yep. But I mean, if dollars to donuts, I'm picking King Felix 10 times out of 10 over Pettit.
Right.
If King Felix pitched for that Yankees team, just imagine how ridiculous those numbers would have been.
Yeah. And if Pettit would have pitched with some schmuck team, if he pitched for the Mariners all those years, he would have been seen as, yeah, pretty darn good pitcher. Hall of pretty good, if anything. Not Hall of Fame.
Let me look at Chase Utley here. Career B WAR of 65. What's his career number? 16 years. It's going to get some longevity points. So his 162 game average over his career, he's a 5 WAR with 158 hits, 22 home runs, 86 RBIs, 275 batting average, 358 on base, 465 slug, 823 OPS for a career for a second baseman. All right. I think Chase Utley might get in.
I think Chase Utley has more of a shot.
Yeah, I think he's going to get in. I think that's second base. He's the Jeff Kent thing. If Jeff Kent's in, Chase Utley's got to be in.
Chase Utley's one of those guys I remember being good, and then you read the numbers and you're like, oh, that's really good. He's kind of the opposite of Andy Pettitte, because like for a while I pictured in my mind Andy Pettitte like having insanely good numbers, and then you look at the numbers, you're like, oh, those aren't bad, but it's not as good as I thought.
I mean, his numbers are on par with Jeff Kent. And he was a much better fielder than Jeff Kent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you have Jeff Kent in this year. I think Chase Utley makes it next year. I think it's going to be Buster Posey and Chase Utley.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
And I think they'll throw a third one in. Probably Pettit,
Probably.
but preferably King Felix.
Yep.
All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nope, I've said my piece. I'm going to go shower now before the next round of storms arrives.
All right. Well, this is going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends. How we grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_sports_podcast on Instagram, ShyFanPat2 for Alex on Twitter /X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like number New Yorkers. Smoking crack is not legal on planes.
Bears 31 to -7.
The Bears.
Oh, when the Bears go bearing down.